the parliament has been dissolved. Mark Carney, the new Prime Minister of Canada, has um, dissolved the parliament. The governor, well, he requested the Governor General to dissolve the parliament. There's going to be an election. It's on April 28th. I thought that they were going to have this go right up until October when it was supposed to be. And there was even talk that it could go on until they could even make it next year. But the polls are looking good for the Liberals because the Liberals have a new leader. So it's like, Canadians seem to think that because Tarface is gone, Justin Trudeau's been thrown out, now everything is good now. You have to understand that. I'll tell you something. Re-electing the Liberals would probably be the stupidest thing Canada ever did since they voted for Trudeau the first time, when they sacrificed having the world's richest middle class, when they were pretty much energy independent for the most part, when they had a great economy, even when the rest of the world was in recession. They threw it all away for Justin the tar-faced Mac Daddy Trudeau in 2015. And re-electing the Liberals just because they have a new leader would trump even that stupidity that they did in 2015. First of all, it's because of the Liberals why Canada is suffering the way it is due to these tariffs, Donald Trump's tariffs. The Liberals deliberately, and this is not just a Trudeau thing, this goes back even from the time the Liberals were just starting to be a political party way back in the 1800s. The Liberals have deliberately forced Canada to be almost heavily reliant on the United States, whether it's military. Let's talk about military, for example. Ever since the first Trudeau, Pierre Trudeau, anytime a Liberal government has been in power, they have cut the living daylights out of the military, like viciously, violently cut Canada's military budget. Really, I mean, you have countries like Cuba, which has the population less than Ontario's, which could probably kick Canada's backside. It's really embarrassing how inefficient the Canadian military is at this moment. And now with Trump saying, well, this is why Trump says these things about 51st state. And I don't agree with it. Hell no, I don't agree with it. Disgust, no. And I think Trump should be focused on putting America first and lowering gas prices and fixing the roads and stopping illegal immigration instead of talking nonsense about 51st state crap. I think even Americans are sick of it. But the reason he can say that with such confidence is because the Canadians, military-wise, they can't do anything without America. In fact, even Jean Chrétien, when he was first elected in 1993, one of the things he said in his victory speech, and you can even watch that, you can look at it yourself. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere. He said, we're going to make cuts. We're not going to spend as much. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. We're not going to spend as much on our military. We will rely on America, our friends. I mean, how can you be relying on other countries for your own safety? I mean, you never know what can happen. I mean, I wouldn't call America an ally right now. I wouldn't. In fact, they're leaning towards being an enemy, to be honest with you. Look at energy. Look at our energy sector. We don't drill for our own oil. We rely on Venezuela for oil, Saudi Arabia, and probably, I don't know if we rely on them. I think we send more energy to America, so we don't take energy from America. They take it from us. But still, I mean, the fact that we have so much oil and gas and everything, and we don't use that for our own advantage. We still are heavily reliant on it. So until the time when we can go on to green and all this stuff, then okay. But now why can't we, if we have the oil, why don't we take it from our own backyard? Help the people in Alberta, help the people in Saskatchewan, British Columbia. I mean, Newfoundland, help them. There's even a little oil in Ontario. In fact, that's where the first oil fields were discovered. It wasn't discovered in Alberta. It was discovered in a place called Oil City. It's either called Oil City or Oil Springs, Ontario. I don't know if there's that much anymore, but help our people. Why are we taking money from Venezuela, a socialist, corrupt hellhole? We are so, even our money, all the Western money is reliant on the US dollar. I mean, we should have a dollar which is not reliant on the US dollar. We should have a dollar that's reliant on our own natural resources, specifically gold and silver. Gold and silver standard, which we used to have, and stupidly we don't anymore. I mean, free trade. I've always said if we can make it ourselves, grow it ourselves, or extract it ourselves in abundance, we should be buying Canadian. We shouldn't ever even think about buying, I don't know, corn from other countries or whatever. I mean, even our cars, we shouldn't be buying. If these foreign companies want to sell us cars, then they have to build factories in our country and build the cars here. And otherwise, we tariff everything that we can buy here in Canada. And if the other country imposes retaliatory tariffs, then we create a fund where every, I don't know, 5 cents out of every dollar goes into a fund, which will give money to foreign companies which buy Canadian goods and unfortunately had to pay the tariff. We give that money to pay the tariff back, so the tariff becomes just useless. So that's the things that we could be doing. But the liberals were so gung ho with the free trade. They are so gung ho about cutting our military. They are so gung ho about destroying our energy sector. And by the way, Mark Carney was Trudeau's economic advisor. All the things that are going on with the economy in Canada today, it it's Mark Carney was the economic advisor. How in the world can you say that Mark Carney is changed when he was the economic advisor to Trudeau during a time and when the economy under Trudeau has just been maggots? It's just been maggots. You can't even afford an egg. It's been maggots. And you're going to say he is the change? Are you out of your mind? Mark Carney's entire cabinet, I think there are only two people, or maybe three people out of the 25 people who were not in Justin Trudeau's cabinet. All but two people were in Trudeau's cabinet, and he is the change? Is there something wrong with you, Canada, to say that now that Carney is the leader and the prime minister, we can go back to the Liberals? I still think Pierre Poilievre is going to win. It's just not going to be as big of a win as it would have been. I still think it's probably going to be a majority. But the fact that there are so many Canadians who think that Mark Carney is changed, are you out of your cotton picking, Tim Hortons coffee drinking, maple syrup eating mind? I mean, snow shoveling mind? Is there something psychologically defective about my people who can say with a straight face that Mark Carney, this globalist from God knows where, is change? He is the one who will stand up to Trump. You know what Donald Trump said? Donald Trump said he prefer a liberal to win because it would be easier to take up to do things with Canada over the conservatives. And I believe him. Let's put it this way. People are accusing Pierre Poilievre of being like Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump's worst nightmare would be to deal with someone who's just like him. And to be honest, I don't even think Pierre Poilievre is completely like Trump, but Trump's worst nightmare. I mean, Trump's worst nightmare would be to deal with somebody who is just like him, who would be to deal with somebody who says, you know what, I'm putting Canada first. Let's make Canada great again. Let's stop all this nonsense about giving money overseas when our native Indians are suffering with contaminated drinking water. Let's drill, baby, drill in Alberta, and drill, baby, drill in Saskatchewan, and drill, baby, drill in British Columbia, and drill, baby, drill in Newfoundland, and become energy independent, and let's have tariffs on things that we can make ourselves in Canada. We'll buy it from ourselves. We can make plenty steel in Canada. Let's buy steel from Canada and not buy one piece of steel from Pittsburgh or any other place in America or in the world. That is Trump's worst nightmare. You would never hear a liberal talking about tariffs and drills, baby drill, and making our military as tough as we can make it. Literally, Cuba could probably kick Canada's ass. Guatemala could probably kick Canada's ass. It is embarrassing. And that would be Trump's worst nightmare. His worst nightmare. So if you're saying that Pierre Poilievre is like Trump, that makes me want to vote for him even more, because I'm sick of my country looking like a chump on the world stage. I'm sick of it. Don't come to me with Mark Carney. Mark Carney is the change. What? What? You're telling me that Pierre Poilievre, Trudeau's economic advisor, is the change from Trudeau? No. No. No, 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 no. Anyway, that's what I've got to say on this. I know I'll be voting conservative. I will be voting conservative as quick as the days are young in the winter. I will be voting for the conservatives as quick as the sun disappears in winter. It will be quicker than a tornado. I will be in that voting booth for all but 1 millisecond. The moment I get that paper on that desk and I take that pen out, I'll be out of there quicker than a jackrabbit. It will be, they'll be like, where did this dude just disappear to? He was right there, now he's gone, because I'm not going to linger. I know exactly what I'm going to do. It's going to be the conservative candidate. It's going to be the conservative candidate. It's not going to be the liberal candidate. It sure as hell isn't going to be the NDP. It's not going to be the People's Party. And I'm all for vote splitting when the conservatives mess up, but I'll tell you something. If you're planning on going for the PPC, you're wasting time, and you're probably trying to be destructive. Like, there's nothing, there's nothing Pierre Poilievre has done to deserve people voting for the PPC. It's one thing if he's Aaron O'Toole. Like, I will split the vote. I split the vote in the Ontario election. I will split the vote if the conservative leader is just unacceptable. But I'm not going to split the vote just because he may have done one or two things unconservative. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So yeah, that's what I gotta say on that. So I know exactly what I'm gonna do. This is the